perspective of Team Liquid, this is actually a really good choice. I mentioned it a bit earlier already, that they are very heavy on towers play. From a win record, it's not really their best map. They are 50% here, they have 5 wins, 5 losses, but that already tells you a lot. They are the ones who usually pick the map, so they really like to approach the map from a second pick perspective, and they have chosen the map now, including this one, 11 times. So it's really one of those go-tos for Team Liquid. They feel confident here. And then when you look over to the Zealots on Towers of Doom, they're currently sitting at only a 20% win ratio out of 5 games. Not really their best battleground, so it's again a lot about personal preference that we're currently seeing here. But that could also bring us again into that 5th map. Oftentimes, the early stages of a best of 5 or a best of 7 are very heavily dictated by map choices. And then later on, if that, for example, accumulates into Sky Temple being played on a potential 5th map, that would put Zealots again into an advantageous position. So a lot of mind games already around map choices, even before we enter the draft.
Well, let's head into it. Yesterday, when we had Zealots play on this battleground, they did face off against Trick Esports, and they wound up running a Phoenix Garrosh Thrall Stukov composition with a Tracer mixed in, trying to buy a little bit of space for that Phoenix. Wound up having ADRD actually playing Phoenix in that round, so we'll see if they head that route. So far, they're not going to get that Tracer, as Team Liquid stays with the trend of keeping Tracer out of their games.
Hanzo right away taken, for several cases here, of course. So first of all, Medivh doesn't surprise as a ban. Zealots have done that every single time when they were in in the second pick position. Now that they are again in first pick spot, they could have aimed for Medivh, but I think they're acknowledging just simply right now that in the hands of Team Liquid, Hanzo is just a bit too strong. The impact that HazoOps has with the hero is pretty impressive. So their thought process is that if they want to take Hanzo in the first place, and again, it's not only because Team Liquid is so strong with him, but also because Zealots highly favor picking the hero, they just want to make sure that Team Liquid, if they pick Medivh, doesn't go straight into a Hanzo setup.
Team Liquid, will they pick up Garrosh again?
I mean, that's immediately the question.
Yeah.
Garrosh, as we said, hasn't seen a single win in this series, which is very surprising considering that both of the tank players are supposed to be some of the best Garrosh players that we have in Europe. But I would say Garrosh here would be fantastic for them. It's another great map for him, because especially when you are fighting underneath those altars, there's even a chance that you can throw an opponent straight into your bell tower. So that's another added benefit for him. So Stukov now taken, Garrosh as well. It's a very similar setup to what we saw in the previous game Zealots start up with, because they were thinking about these throws into the quick silence. And with that setup already, wouldn't shock me if Zealots actually ban out Maiev on the second ban to make sure that these displacement combos that Liquid loves to play are not going to be in their hands. Because what they're running right now is very reminiscent of what Team Liquid chose on Battlefield of Eternity, and their next pick was right away Maiev to get that throw into a silence, into a tether, and then just bursting the target down.
My ban would be a good call for Zealots, but I'm actually kind of wondering if they might move into a double support here. Tacit being available is helpful against Garrosh. We've had it talked about it in the past. It's one of the best ways to break him down is to poke him a little bit. If not, there's also still that Avatar up and available, which we've seen Zealots run on Towers of Doom, as they love to play that macro game.
Avatar is another really good call. But an early Blaze take now. Blaze very early. Again, can be played in the main tank and the off-tank position. So this still keeps them flexible. Majority of Blaze play is still in the off-lane spot. So very rarely do we see him in the main tank, but it at least keeps you a bit flexible. So I personally would expect Maiev to be banned out by Zealots, but your call with Avatar is actually a very good one. Team Liquid could decide to ban out Avatar here against Zealots. Zealots have shown that they want to run with him. And also ADRD, again, is extremely good with the hero.
I wouldn't mind seeing Avatar for Team Liquid here as well. Going on their side, an Avatar with a Garrosh being able to be a bit annoying on that front line. You can poke him pretty quickly. They can finish out their draft too to make sure they have proper clone setup. I mean, Grey being still up and available. You can go for a double Genji type of pickup.
Now, the problem if you go for Avatar on Team Liquid side is, of course, then you would most likely not go into Maiev with this setup, or it's a heavy commitment. If you can, the problem is more so because who's the Avatar player on Team Liquid side? It's HazoOps. So then you would put HazoOps on Avatar. You would have, if you pick Maiev, you would have Nurok on Maiev, and that leaves you with Eternal, and he's usually on the off-tank position. So that would just not work from a hero pool perspective. You can draft a composition around Maiev Avatar and make it her also even an off-laner, but in that case,
it wouldn't work.
Eternal would have to play Maiev, and I just don't see that happening with Nurok having that high priority on it.
Yeah, he likes to play a little bit more tanky playmakers. If anything, I would probably see an Artanis before Maiev from him. All right, let's go ahead and move into our third and fourth pickup. Genji taken away, which does take away that possibility of Abathur or Genji combination, but also the ability for that Genji has been pretty decisive for Team Liquid.
But that leaves Maiev open. So now you can actually start to play around that displacement composition again. And I feel that's what Team Liquid is probably considering right now. Do we put Nurok again on Maiev, or do we want to play a different style? And that's also where Abathur can come into play. Do you play the Maiev card, or do you play around an Abathur composition where you won't pick Maiev in this setup unless Eternal says, I feel confident enough that I can play on Maiev?
There it is, Maiev and Abathur.
Now I really want to see if they switch heroes up. Because if they still go for an offlaner for Eternal now on the last spot, they're insanely melee heavy. And I don't think they can commit to that. And they're already switching here a bit. This is very I think there's a pretty big chance that we're actually going to see Eternal on Maiev now on the offlane with the help of Abathur, and going to see Nurok on a range damage dealer.
But which range damage dealer? We'll have to see what Zealots pick up here for the fourth and fifth pickup. Do you grab Tyrael again here? Just get full protection and make sure that Maiev can't be too effective?
Tyrael Blaze and staggering the protection here, you could definitely pull that off, yeah. The second damage dealer is something that I'm personally interested in, and we're still talking about ADRD. Now his Abathur is not available anymore, Medivh is banned out, he could go into Tassadar, he has played Genji in the past, so that could be an option. Has played Maiev, a lot of his heroes are gone, that could be a double support setup for them.
Well, 3 seconds counting. Will we get that Tassadar from ADRD? Diablo? Li Ming.
Alright.
So Hanzo for ADRD, Li Ming for Chris.
Yep. Currently it's actually, could be, or vice versa. This is the pick that I'm interested in.
What do you got, Team Liquid?
Is Eternal shifting, or are they actually using another melee assassin or offlaner for Eternal at this point? And I would not be surprised if they, Hazops has to play Abathur. And then if you put Eternal on Maiev, then this entire setup works out a lot better. I thought they would shy away from it, because from a hero pool perspective, I didn't think that they would put Eternal on Maiev, and thought if they run it, they will heavily favor Nurok in that spot. But there's Tychus, so yeah, we're definitely going to see that swap. And I love it. I actually really like it. I think in this setup, if you have an Abathur composition, Maiev can definitely take that solo lane.
Yeah.
She definitely can. She's already good against some heroes on the solo lane, and can hold her own with a wave clear. But if you throw an Abathur into that mix, she has a pretty easy time of holding her own in that spot, and then can rotate into fights later on.
Yeah.
But from Team Liquid's hero pool, if they want to make that play around an Abathur, they have to switch players up a bit. And traditionally, all their games on Maiev have been on Nurok, but he's most likely going to be the one that finds himself in a swap position now.
Now, Keldor keeps mentioning how Maiev can be a side laner, and why is that? When you're looking at a side lane, typically what you want is wave clear, you want some kind of kill potential, and you want some survivability. Maiev has two of those. She has a wave clear and she has survivability. Now, she doesn't really have the sustain that you would typically have, but with Abathur coming in there and having that shield build, suddenly a sustain gets put on top of her, and she becomes that threat that can actually handle well in the top lane, and that's why she can do so great. So make sure to think about that in your own games if you ever want to do put Maiev in the top lane. But Tychus coming in there for that final pickup, going to be able to help clean up Odin here as well, and with 2 tanks to burn down, she gets some value.
Against Diablo in particular.
All right.
Game is on, ladies and gentlemen. We're heading into game number 4. Team Liquid is in the lead, and they have a pretty sweet draft here, but it's about the Zealots first. To the left, they're starting with Chris on Hanzo, Zarmini on Blaze, Mopsy on Diablo, Shat on Malfurion, and ADRD on Li Ming.
To the right, Nurok to play some Tychus, Splendor on Stukov, Abathur played by Hasuov, Sport Billy on Garrosh, and Eternal to play the Maiev.
Now, as we expected, with an Abathur and Maiev combo drafted for Team Liquid, they needed to change the roles a little bit. Maiev usually played by Nurok, but if they want to run the setup with Maiev and Abathur, they need to have still a range damage dealer. So what they did is they put Maiev into the hands of Eternal, who now on the offlane, with the help of Abathur, is definitely going to be able to hold his own, and they use Nurok for Tychus. Tychus, of course, going to try and burn Diablo down, and it's already starting here, as Mopsio is low, and he goes down. Maiev goes in for the kill. Vault of the Wardens is keeping her alive as she moves away, and a quick kill for Team Team Liquid, as again, they're playing around their displacement combo that they so much prefer.
Team Liquid showing a different option with Eternal on that Maiev. What if you just have Abathur soak with hats and let Eternal be the full aggressive player? And Eternal's doing so, going in for the tether. Shad has been slowed down. Splinter goes in for the auto attack. Nurog with the overkill. Will it be enough? No. Instead, he walks into a turret shot and ADRD gets a reset.
Bit too greedy here. Slightly too greedy in this situation, so needed to move away there. Abathur is not going to be able to hold the top lane. Someone will have to rotate eventually. If you actually just make that rotation happen and you don't send anybody to the top, your opponent is immediately going to exploit that, and that's what we're seeing Zealots do. So someone will have to take that spot. You can at the beginning definitely make Maiev part of a 4-man rotation, but eventually someone will have to rotate over and help out top, because Abathur alone can hold the experience, but he can't hold the structures.
Well, what if instead of someone, you just send everyone to the top lane? They take the sappers and they're running as 4-mans, and they'll take the sapper to get those pushing the top lane. And Team Liquid, if they stay mounted and run in the middle lane and maybe peel one out on the bottom, they can still soak.
I mean, Maiev is now taking the top lane, but of course, if you have Maiev as the solo laner with an Abathur composition, you're not going to find her with the same playstyle that we've seen from Eternal in the past, let's say on Arthur's, where he just, or on Leoric, where he just says, I'm going to soak 2 lanes for the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
You want to be in team fights, so we're going to see a lot more rotations from Team Liquid and not just a super static setup. But it's just really important for them that they have Eternal now on the hero to open up one of the 2 damage dealers, the range damage dealers that they have, Nurok and Hazorps, to just play that additional role. And so far we have seen also good damage from Tychus, and with the bigger they are now, he's going to chunk Diablo down pretty heavily whenever there is a lockdown.
And we haven't talked about this in a while, but Splendour's silence there on Stukov is actually a really good control for the sappers. The sappers actually won't use their active ability of charging if you silence them, and that's what we just saw there. Splendor silenced them underneath the turrets, and that allowed Garrosh to walk over and clear those up, which I was actually impressed with Shad, because he dropped the Malfurion root to make sure Garrosh couldn't get there to clean it up in time, but the play-on-play layers happening here, and Team Liquid able to defend that push.
Yeah, and talking about push, there's a very aggressive move towards the Knight camp, or towards the Mercenary camp on Team Liquid side. And they are now in here with Abathur and a 3-man. Also, Eternal started to rotate in, since they definitely want to make sure that they can grab it. But what I want to point out with this is, as we have talked a lot about Garrosh and about the 2 Garrosh players in here, that we have now a different build again for Sport Billy. Once more, though, Zarmany is being attacked here. Here comes Nurok, he wants the damage, because they are already through. Eternal, Wall of the Warden, jumps out, and Zarmany survives for now, with Eternal barely surviving on Maiev.
Bit of a miscommunication there. Flaming almost had a solid amount of damage on the Tychus, but Diablo came through and pushed him out of that combo. But still doesn't matter. Zealot's able to win that fight, grab at 2 of the altars as Blaze finishes one of the top left, and they'll jump up and lead 36-32.
And now let's come back quickly to the build, because the big synergy for Mopsio that we saw on Volskaya was definitely around Bloodthirst on your level 4 and your level 13 talent. So heavy cooldown reduction, and then just trying to get the extra heals out of the 13 talent. Sport Billy in general prefers to go for Indomitable on level 4, so it's all about the Unstoppable here. He's going up against the roots on Malfurion's side, and of course all the combos that Diablo can execute against him, the Jet Propulsion and the Hanzo Arrow. So with those in play and you running a Stukov over any kind of hero that can either remove his stun, as Malfurion can with his level 7 HS Cure, or a proper cleanse, you just want to have another tool so that you can get out of these stun lock compositions. So a bit of a different playstyle that we see from Garrosh, played by either Sport Billy or, of course, Mopsio. Something to just point out here. It's definitely a little bit of talent diversity that we have, also with the level 1 coming into it. And I feel this is one of the great things about these 2 players.
You can tell that Team Liquid in general is just really respecting the amount of CC available for the Zealots. At level 7, Relentless Soldier coming online as well. Tychus knows that there is going to be a spot that he's probably going to get CC, so getting that additional armor can be great for them. 25 for 3 seconds, which helps out with any damage coming your way. Team Liquid get a bit aggressive here with Sport Billy leading the charge as they push in for these sappers. Now, Mopsio has called to his teammates. There's going to be a 5-man flank here from the Zealots to stop this.
Nice throw by Diablo. He's in a really awkward spot now. But Eternal is currently zoning out Blaze. He's low. And here comes Mopsio going in deep again against Nurok and against Splendor. That could work out, but it does quite not. We have Abathur taking down Diablo. Vault of the Wardens for Eternal again. Zarmany is still low, but he keeps himself alive. Here's Li Ming dying. Stukov falls. It's a bloodbath. Eternal himself trying to find maybe another target. Sport Billy goes in and saves him as Abathur also starts to chip into the fight with the Carapace build that he has here. Sport Billy just quickly moving away. What a fight here, but it's actually Shad for the Zealots that gets the first channel through.
Eternal starting his own channel. Zarmany has the ability to disrupt, and he does so. Gonna go ahead and pop on out, and Team Liquid may have to consider giving this up. We have Chris and Shad who are fully healthy. Malfeared on his way too to start grabbing this altar, and Team Liquid decides to back up. What a crazy fight. So Team Liquid barely wins that fight right above this, but Zealots, because they did enough damage, actually win the 2 altars, and they jump up again, 36-24.
Yeah, with the death timer still being this low, the heroes on the Zealot side were back in play fast enough to just deter Team Liquid from taking any of the altars. So great play, and now we're having Team Liquid falling down to 24 points on the core. Now, of course, there is the Abathur composition to consider, so we will see a lot more aggression from Team Liquid once that they have the copy available. But right now, Zealots are dominating this early stage of the game. And when we're talking about level 10 abilities, let's not forget that we're looking at a setup for Zealots where they can use a Hanzo arrow into an Apocalypse. This is a tried and true combo that we have seen a lot. And once that you, through the combo, get the first kill for Li Ming, those resets that we are going to see are going to be fantastic for ADRD. So with Chris's ability to hit 2, 3, 4-man arrows very consistently, this is going to be very dangerous for Team Liquid.
Yeah, Team Liquid's going to have to make sure they're spread out, and also Warden cages are going to be on point to try and prevent that from popping off. Now, there are tools that Team Liquid can use to make sure that arrow composition isn't too effective. First off, Odin, when it's in the transformation phase, does have Unstoppable. And then, of course, if you look at Garrosh and Dominal, so there are things that can be played to stop that coming from coming off. But if Zealots ever do get that full engage that they're looking for, they are going to clean house, especially with resets coming in.
Yeah, definitely. The resets, this is what we have to watch out for. But here comes the engage again. Mopsio already chunked down, but the bigger they are. Great play here. The silence is in. Hanzo arrow comes through, but it's not enough to keep Diablo alive. He goes down, and that shows the power of Tychus once again against the Diablo composition. Very important, of course, to keep Diablo in the range of Tychus for the entire duration of his minigun once that he pops it, and that's why where Maiev excels, where Garrosh, of course, excels too, and even Stukov, just keeping him silenced and make it hard for him to move away here. Great damage, great kill by Team Liquid, and now they can finally pick up another altar here.
NDRD might be in trouble. He's trying to run towards Blaze. He could help him out. Blaze does have that bunker, as well as the ability to peel forward. ADRD continuing to take some poke, makes it around to the top left, and will also drop down to Calamity. So it looks like he is just safe, but Team Liquid, they're hunting for kills now. They know they have their level 10. They know that they have the ability to destroy a target, especially if they have Garrosh in a position where he can throw a target to Tychus, as you just mentioned. So they'll keep looking for those kills.
Yeah, Liquid is definitely now in a spot where they have a bit more teamfight potential. But let's also not forget that the Zealots were a bit handicapped in the last fight through Diablo being targeted so quickly. So the Hanzo and Apocalypse combo could not be executed. Only the arrow hit. But if the follow-up is there, then the chances of Li Ming getting the initial kill for her resets are pretty high. So that's something to keep in mind for the next team fight. Team Liquid had a very nice drop against Diablo here, and I don't think that they're continuously going to be able to do that. Well,
find another combo.
Maybe I'm wrong here.
Charges forward. There goes the taunt. Here's Splendor. Tychus trying to make his way on the back left. Not here just in time yet to put damage on Diablo. Finally gets there. And Mopsio is trying to escape, but the Warden's Cage keeps him on lock, especially with the silence.
Yeah, Mopsio is really having trouble now. This is now the second time that we see Diablo fall. He's still on 90 souls, so that's pretty good from a stacking perspective that he didn't lose them, since there's no immediate objective to fight over, so you don't really want the immediate spawn. He rather would hold on to his souls, and he can do that now. But still, it's really well done by Sportbilly how much pressure he puts onto Diablo, and it's just a big problem. If you have that isolation of Diablo with Tychus just sitting in the back line or coming in from the side, then he just drops so insanely fast. And we oftentimes talk about how this is one of the reasons why you want to have a Medivh with Diablo or even a Tassadar, just so when the flip happens, you can keep the target life a bit longer. And that's a luxury that Mopsio doesn't have on Diablo in this game.
Now, look in the bottom left here. There's a bit of a push happening as Sappers are trying to push in. Sportbilly and Maiev are thinking about trying to be a bit more threatening and walk towards this fort, so Zealots have to respect that. They bring all four down to clear out as Team Liquid slowly chunks it down. Team Liquid with that level 13 will now continue to rotate around, and they're just controlling this bottom space. That's their main goal. You can see the Sappers. They've been grabbing them every single time. They're currently red. Team Liquid knows that eventually, if they can take down this bottom left bell tower, they'll be in a great spot to continue controlling the pace of the game.
The 13s are coming in from both sides now, and with Liquid's 13, the Soma transference on Abathur is super important to keep Maiev or Garrosh alive, depending on who's going to be the target in these fights. And we, of course, have now the additional route options through Stukov. There's a quick steal on the camp. Very unlikely that we're going to see this being contested. Chris actually needs to be cautious. Shad is helping him out here because Sport Billy was already angling for a potential move. Yeah, Mopsio also needs to be cautious here. But this is really the play for the bell tower, and this is what's going to be important here. Can Liquid actually grab it?
If they really wanted to, they could commit Odin, but they're just playing it safe, getting the sappers in. They know they have their own sappers pretty soon.
Here comes the flank,
yeah,
potentially.
Zealots wants to force a fight, and the Thurnal scouts it out. Perfect. Now Team Liquid knows, okay, Avatar, you can soak. We play safe. We don't get caught. We should be fine.
In experience, it's incredibly even. Zealots are still ahead when it comes to core points. 28 to 20 in their favor. Both teams on level 14. But of course, the kill count is starting to lean heavily towards Team Liquid with 5 kills against 2. Mopsio again trying to get out of here. This time nobody locks him down. The grenade comes in though. Can Sport Billy go for the throw? They're trying to. Mopsio is low, but 80 already comes in. He has the APOC. Arrow did not connect, and the combo once again misses.
And Splendor tossed away by Sport Billy to make sure that he's nice and safe. Nurok pops at Odin, and now they want to fight. Zarmi jumps into his own bunker, but he's taking some damage. Taunt comes out for Sport Billy to try and lock him down. Goes for the Groundbreaker, but misses it.
Copy comes in. Zarmini is trying to move away with the jet propulsion. Gets that, but the cage is there and locks him down. Blaze is dead, and Liquid is looking for a second kill, but they can't close the distance to Diablo fast enough.
Team Liquid is starting to outplay Zealots and team fights. Dodging on the arrow, the APOC had to be used instantly too, hoping to try and land that combo. Just did not hit in any way. Indomitable was, Garrosh was close to getting hit, but Indomitable allowed him to get it.
And Liquid is going to get all 3 altars.
All 3?
Yes, they just grabbed the first one. They're going to take the one to the right side pretty easily, and we already have the channel towards the left.
Look at top.
So that's all of a sudden. Zealots being down to 16. They lost a lot of the hit points on the bot lane here on the bell tower. This is a dire situation for Zealots. They are starting to lose complete control of this game.
With top lane pushing in too. Let's put some damage on that fort, and now there's 2 forts that are weakened. We should have Blaze clean that up, but again, a threat. If another fight happens and Zealots lose 1 to 2 members, suddenly those forts get taken. Team Liquid has full map control. They can make a play for a boss. And now, for the first time in this game, Team Liquid is actually in the lead, 20 to 16.
Yeah, and pretty heavily at that. It's also the 16 talent that they have, as you already pointed out. The talent advantage on top of them being ahead in core points now. And again, the play for Mopsio here. There comes Nurok, gets the minigun, they get the damage in. Sport Billy with the taunt. Arrow tries to go in, and once again, Mopsio is about to fall. Zealots can't execute the combo.
Diablo
the bunker
lives.
Keeps Diablo alive for now, and they can't follow it up. The combo is a bit too late. Mopsio actually surviving. Liquid backing off. I expected them to stay a bit closer and try to just confirm the kill after he moves out of the bunker or the duration is over, with maybe a quicker copy from Avatar.
You have to be careful. That Twilight Dream can't fully commit with that bunker being down. A good placement. Completely safe Diablo was. And Diablo, still full of souls here, survives that initial gank.
The problem is still there, though. The combo of Zealots just doesn't work out. The arrow into the Apocalypse has so far not yielded any results, and if Li Ming doesn't get the resets, then there's just nothing that they can really do with this. Once again, a quick kill against Blaze as he gets isolated here. Desperate attempt by Zealot to turn it around, but Sport Billy with the Abathur head, he has the survivability. Here comes the APOC, doesn't do too much. Splendor might fall though, and that's the first reset. Can AD already finally commit to the damage? Sport Billy again with a nice throw here, trying to move away. Eternal already slowing them too, and that is actually the Zealots again victorious in a 4 versus 5 and holding barely onto the game.
Hanzo hits a spike at level 16, the piercing arrows, completely shredding folks in that fight. Hanzo able to force Team Liquid to back up, and then of course the catch on Stukov was enough to make sure that no one could get healed up. Team Liquid had to give away control in the fight, and Zealous will happily run with it. They grab the sappers, they push in the bottom lane, they get the altar, they tie up the series 16 to 16. Mopsio gets thrown one again, but Nurok gets thrown backwards. Can Nurok escape? He's attempting to retreat here. That armor helped out for a little bit. The silence into a Mopsio combo is going to be the death of Tygus.
Yeah, Tygus is down. Mopsio, they're throwing him in. There's going to be the death of Diablo. Diablo's going to be down. All right, souls are gone.
Yep.
It's a tough trade to call, actually. A little bit too greedy on the side of Nurok. He went in a bit too deep against Diablo and went just too close, so that got him flipped and taken down. But the counter kill against Diablo was important because it just dropped all of his souls. The problem for Liquid is that on the back of it, Zealots also took the bell tower. So now it's just the momentum swings. It's really just a roller coaster what we're watching here. Back and forth the entire time. Liquid and Zealots are tied in points on the core. Both of them on 16, but now Zealots are grabbing the boss because of the Tychus kill here. They gained that momentum, and now they have taken a small lead again. But in experience, they're practically tied.
Towers of Doom. I don't know what it is about this map, but it always comes down to the wire. 16-12. Team Liquid frantically trying to take back their bell tower on the bottom, and they need to, especially with them having a Tychus who has to get kind of close range to clear that out. They'll be able to grab it just in time, too, with an altar spawning towards the south. So they are on even footing in terms of a 5v5, 18-18, but boy, is it close between these two teams. Next fight is going to be possibly an altar and maybe a bell tower.
Hazop's already committing to the copy here. Very early by him. So Hazop's at the front, Stukov. Wondering at this point, was that a misclick? I don't think so, but I'm not quite sure what exactly they tried to accomplish. Did they really expect the fight to be heavily committed there? Shad is already trying the channel. They don't have an Abathur copy and they're backing off. That might have been a misclick on Hazop's part. They're giving up the altar, and I don't think they had to. Now they're down to 8 points on the core.
But at least they have the awareness to say, okay, we used Ultimate Evolution in a scenario where it didn't work out. We have to back up. No reason to try and force that. Blaze gets caught in the middle, but with a bunker, he's able to break that tether and get out. Smart play from Zarmany.
Yeah. It's actually, like, if Liquid wins the series, I really want to know what happened there. It's either that he misclicked or they just misjudged the situation and expected Zealots to commit to it, and it was a bit of a misread. But the fight isn't over. Here comes the containment, and there we have it. A double kill. Diablo without the souls is too squishy, and Tychus confirms the double as he drops Malfurion and Diablo. There is no altar to capitalize on. The boss is also taken. But what Liquid can do is now finally start to commit and take these bell towers, and they're already moving through the bot lane. They have an opportunity to take the bot lane and maybe even grab another bell tower up at the top if they use Abathur to push the lane through. Blaze is trying to prevent it, but Abathur can definitely deliver a bit of extra damage if they are eager to do that.
And they hit level 20. Big red button, 20 comes off. Get the extra hats as well from Abathur. Things become a little bit more terrifying. And we're going to have the rest of Team Liquid head towards the middle lane. Are they going to attempt to break open this fort here while they have a nice massive lead over their opponents? A half a level, that 20 to 19.5.
I mean, Liquid is down to 8 points on the core. You really need to make sure that this is now, that you hold control of the game. Because Zealots, they might not have 20 yet, but they will in a few seconds. And they already have twice the amount of hit points on the core, 16 to 8. So now, with 5 bell towers under the control of Team Liquid, this is really the moment where not only do you want to have both altars, you also want to make sure that you are holding on to your map control. The top lane bell tower is nearly gone. Abathur could start to be positioned a little bit more aggressively towards the top if he sees that everyone else is fighting here at the bot lane. But outside of that, this is really the moment when you have to make a play. And already Stukov for the channel, but that's also the moment when Zealots are trying to for the engage here. Indomitable being used by Sport Billy. Abathur trying to help him out. Billy again in trouble, trying to move away here. He's close to dying. Mopsio wants the kill, but he doesn't get it. Billy is actually able to move out.
But Nurok, he gets caught here on the side. The Thurnal comes in, is able to get the tether, and Mopsio falls. Next will be Zarmany. He has no escape whatsoever. Chris is able to get back to his base, but the altar is now available for channeling for Team Liquid. They take out 2.
They take out 2, and do they make a play for another bell tower, or do they just go for the double channel? Stukov, by the way, rotated immediately into the middle because he realized, hey, I have to help them right now. I need to abort the channel. Hazop's here with the first one. That's 10 shots fired. And now we're seeing Zealots going down to 6 points on the core. This is a moment where you can start to try and make a play here. Billy in trouble again, but once more, he's being kept alive by Hazop's.
That was risky, though. He came around from the corner, and ADRD got the perfect repulsion, knocking him straight into the death zone. Luckily able to sneak out just barely on health. Almost a bit of a mistake there from Sport Billy, but hey, it pays off.
Boss is down for a minute. Boss is still down for another minute. They're trying to go through the bot lane here with the mercenaries. If they can get those extra shots in, that would be so crucial for them. And Mopsio, by the way, is still on 25 souls only. That's one of the big reasons why he was so easy to drop in that last fight. Because the initial aggression from the Zealots was great. The problem is they just couldn't follow it up. The backline was zoned out, and now Liquid is, of course, always targeting Diablo as quickly as they can. He is in relation, he's still a bit squishy here. So he wants to have more souls, but here comes the fight. And they could throw one in, they get a few shots delivered. Zealots are down to 4, and that means the boss could end the game.
Total of 2 sappers come in. Mule also to make sure this bell tower stays nice and healthy. Team Liquid continues to defend it, knowing how important it is for a setup, especially with the next altar being in the middle. Zealots are not going to allow this Mule to get any value. They'll step up, but the Mule doesn't fall. It's still healing. Bunker being used. The Zealots know they have to make something happen here.
Diablo, he's taunted again. Apocalypse is being used. The arrow connects, but Diablo is still about to fall. They're barely keeping him alive. Scratch that. He goes down. The Lord of Terror, not so terrifying anymore. And that's the second kill as Hanzo falls. The big red button is delivering as Zarmany is attempting to move out, but that's the triple kill. Blaze goes down. And yes, Yes, they got the bell tower back, but does it matter anymore? We have an altar spawning. We have a boss up at the top of the map. This is checkmate. Zealots desperately trying to make some kind of play, but it's a 5 versus 2 situation, and Splendor is already on the channel. The B steps are happening. Eternal knows this is over. ADR is dying as he's desperately trying to go for another interrupt. He gets the interrupt, but this is still game as Team Liquid gets the final altar. They deliver the 4 shots, and they take the series. They defeat Zealots with a 3-1 in the best of 5.
And Team Liquid will hold on to that 3rd slot for the MSB. Well played by them as they get a victory on Zealots. Also, gotta shout out Splendor there in that last team fight. Massive shove. Malfurion went from the bottom of the map all the way to the top, getting an instant reset on that massive shove. Just making sure no Twilight Dream can come in and kill Nurok, because Nurok was pretty close to being picked off. Team Liquid get the victory today. Look at the stats here. Nurok delivering in the damage.
Oh yeah, look at Tiger, 64,000 damage. And not only that, he was involved in every single kill and confirmed 8 of the 16 kills, so half of them. And that's just the power play against Diablo. Look at Diablo, 8 deaths in this game. This is just how tricky it was for Mopsio to keep alive there. With the bigger they are coming in on Tychus and all of the displacement, Garrosh throwing Diablo into the team, Maiev pulling him back into the silence. Mopsio just couldn't escape there. The Tychus pick on the lower end of the draft was definitely something that screwed the entire game plan of the Zealots.